All right. Good morning. Good morning, April 29th, Tuesday. Watch out. I got a 78. 78 on sleep score. Woo. Yeah. How we doing, guys? Feels good to feel good. Holy crap. Been a bit. 4 or 5 years, not a big deal. Oh, we get through it, though. Yeah. I just woke up this morning, had a good night's sleep, and got down here into the gym and worked on some world domination. So, good morning, Alex Redmond, Wendy Lee, Dave Howard, always here. You guys like the wallpaper. Alex coming in at 10. Wendy's here. Thank you for doing all the stuff in the background. Yeah. So, boom, boom, boom. Look at the comments coming up. Look at that. Bang. Dave Howard. Good to see you. I need that walk-up song. Like, if I could play Judas Priest, You Got Another Thing Coming, as I start this thing out, and bam, just get ready to go, right? Love that. But then they take my video down because I some sort of unlawfulness of musical stuff. So anyway, I think Steve's going to pop in this morning because the topic is right up his alley, going from owner to operator and not getting stuck in the day-to-day. And one of the things I've always heard him say is that if you have a business and you can't step away for a week, you don't have a business, you got a job. Okay, so we're going to talk about that a little bit today. Good morning, Josh Baker. I'll keep my eye on my screen here, so if he pops in, we can get him in. Matt Tolman is here. I felt like Matt Tolman this morning. I was working out, pick things up and put them down, having a good time, and all of that stuff. So yeah, how we doing on Instagram? Let's see who's over here. I don't know if I can do it. It's not letting me do it. There we go. So maybe we'll get Touring Man on here to say hello this morning. Good morning, Tolman. Guys, I always share some links. I had a great meeting yesterday with Tyler Kirk from Legacy Media. Check him out. You don't have to look too far on my stuff to find him. He's around, and if you're working on your branding or stuff's not on point, all your just digital media stuff, check him out. I always put Bailey's link in here too. So she's 21 Digital. She's in Dallas, but it doesn't matter. She can help you with your social because let's face it, you suck at it. Just kidding. She tells me I'm bad too, but it's all right. Kids are great. Check it out. So I don't know, my links can't post comments to some destinations. Well, screw you. Don't care. It's giving me notifications, this, that, and the other. I'm pushing the envelope here, baby. This morning, she's breaking up. She's breaking up. You guys having a good time this week? Who's got some wins? Share a win in the comments. How we doing? Win some jobs? Get rid of some jobs? Not work for crazy people? Anything like that? Yeah, let me know. Pop it in the chat. Let me know how you're doing. We got great weather today, obviously, because it's the busiest day. My busiest day is Tuesday. I'll be inside most of the day, but looking outside at the sun, we'll get out here and there. That's why I wanted to get the workout in this morning. I was psyched to wake up and feel good and be like, all right, I'm gonna get a good one in. So yes, and Dave, the most important thing about today is that the Celtics have to win. We got to get rid of those guys, you know. I mean, I feel like getting a bus full of people from Southern Maine, getting down there and messing up the Orlando Magic. I don't like those cats. It's one thing to play hard. I'm all about that. But when you're out there really trying to hurt people that do it for a living, that's different. That takes it to another level. And there's been clear examples of that in that series. And, you know, I'm all about playoff basketball, going hard. But, yeah, enough of that. So I like what Jaylen Brown said. He said, we can just fight if you want. He said, I'll go up there and pick up those guys from Summit Coaching and all that whole free Facebook group and bring them down here. We'll take care of you guys. All right. Roy says, sold $25K and work on Saturday. Saturday? You're not supposed to work on Saturday, Roy. What are you doing? You're supposed to be off that day. Glad to hear it. Proud of you, brother. Matt Tolman, I think I'm closing a $190,000 edition today. unexpected call. Sometimes when you put yourself in the spot to receive something, it happens. I don't get too woo woo. That's about as much as I get, and I think that's awesome. But today I wanted to talk about that owner to operator stuff and working on the business instead of in the business. I talked with a guy yesterday on one of my strategy calls. He listens often, and he was just kind of buried with being the single operator dude, and it's hard when you're at that level when it's just you, right? Or maybe it's just you and a couple of guys, and you're trying to figure out, man, how do I grow this thing? How do I scale this thing without, scaling a turd, so to speak? Most contractors, though, are trapped in their business, right? They're just chasing jobs. They're a carpenter that got really good at it, and somebody said, you ought to start a business. Now they got a logo on their truck and a bunch of paperwork they don't want to do. They own the business, but they don't really operate it like a business. High-level contractors, operators, business owners don't just work in the business, they work on it, guys. Building systems and people to take the pressure off what they're doing. So really your goal as an owner should be to replace yourself with systems or people. Not today, but have your eye on that. What is the next step? Where are we headed next? If you took a week off, would your business survive? You ever go on vacation and come back to a cluster? I have. I've shut it down before to go on vacation. The few vacations that I took, just shut it down because it was too much of a pain in the ass to try to come back to a mess. Tried it both ways. Would your business stall if you did that? Or would it just burn flat? Nobody collecting any money, nobody taking anything to the bank, nobody reaching out, nobody getting back to people. Too many business owners are just like lead carpenters with a logo and a tax ID number. So today I want to talk about becoming an operator. I think Steve's going to pop in here shortly. And if you don't get it from me, you are sure as shit going to get it from him. Okay. All right. So let's talk about that. Build the system so the system can build the business. All right. And again, I'll preface this by saying most of the time in my business, I was not very good at this. I was just doing a lot of what you guys are probably doing, which is just fielding ground balls and throwing them over to first and putting out fires and doing the things. Having to do it all over again. And if ChatGPT was invented about 10 years sooner, I'd have been all over that shit, putting my systems together. Okay. Contractors get trapped. Business owners get trapped. You started doing the work. You grew by accident. You didn't hire or delegate enough. Feel guilty stepping back. And here's the one. Nobody does it how we do it, right? So you're the bottleneck. Everything runs through you, and you're the bottleneck. You're just that choke point, but you're still always in firefighting mode. Constant phone calls and texts during jobs. You can't put the belt on to work for more than an hour without feeling you got to take it off. Always stepping in to fix shit for your crew. Sorry, I got something on I got a hair on my face or something. You can't take a vacation without chaos. You're the only one who knows the price, how to price stuff, how to schedule stuff, what's going on next week. Hustle builds the business, but systems will sustain it. So let's talk about some steps to shift into that operator mode. Document your processes, even the basic ones. Start with a small one. How do you price jobs, schedule crews? How do you handle customer communication? Use ChatGPT to get into this stuff, guys. Yeah, good morning, Michael Herron, Josh Baker. Good to see you guys. Create the if this, then that SOP, right? If this happens, then that happens. If a change order comes in, we do this. If a crew is short, we do this. We reassign this way. If a client wants an update, use this template. Boom. Put a 3-ring binder together on how to run your business. Like I said, if somebody was going to ride into town and write you a check, would you be able to hand them a book on how to run it? Luke McGee, good to see you. And then delegate and layer. Start small. Estimating, follow-ups, order materials, all that stuff. The minutia, I call it. Hire a part-time VA or admin. Start there. And take that those non-job site tasks and unload them off your plate. What can I unload? Promote from within. Train your best crew leader to run the site without you. So things are happening when you're not there. I talked with a framer once, and he said, I had 2 crews. He goes, but I just shut one down because whatever crew I wasn't there where whatever job I wasn't on came to a screeching halt. That's a leadership issue, but we can talk about that later. So, guys, I mentioned Steve would be popping in. He's here, so I want to welcome him. Steve Rosenberg, thanks for jumping on the call this morning. Where are you this week?
Actually, good to see you, brother. I'm in Houston right now. Just finished the gym. And I am I'll be in Munich, Germany tonight. So heading to Munich in about 7 or 8 hours. I'll be doing an all-nighter across the pond. So
No kidding.
uh,
No kidding.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
good
all
stuff.
good, brother.
I wonder sometimes how you stay rested and you're up early at different time zones and you must you just do it. How you get rest when you can. You must be able to fall asleep like that, right?
No, not really. It's like everybody, sometimes it's hard to shut your mind off, but
Yeah,
I, y- you know, it, I've been doing this for 30 years, right? So
right.
it's I don't know, like a lot of people tell me, like, I don't know how you do it. I'm like, it's just, you just do it, right? You just wake
It's just
up.
your
I mean,
thing. Yeah,
I get up this morning, I was up at 3 a.m. I had stuff I had to do. I had to leave, um, leave for the gym by 4. So I had stuff I got to do. And it's all relative, right? If I'm in
yeah,
Germany and I got to get up at 6 a.m. to work out, then that's midnight here, so
right,
it's all it's what you allow, right? It's
right.
like it's all your perspective of what you allow in life is what I've learned.
Yeah,
So
I found it, and you and I talked earlier. Just last night, I really feel like the sleep started to come together, and I woke up this morning and was like, you know what? I felt I really, for the first time in a while, really felt like working out, and there's a big difference because you can blow through that for a while, right? You can kick down that wall, but if there's if you're really just in the tank, it's hard to get it done. It's a bitch, and that's where I've been the last few years. So I've just started prioritizing the sleep and at 55, son of a bitch, maybe I need a little more sleep. So, so be it. And it's working. So anyway, well, good to have you on. I appreciate you jumping in. I told you probably would like the topic this morning,
yeah.
and I've heard you go on this one for a bit sometimes, and just talk. I don't know if you caught any of what I said earlier, but just talking about one of the things that resonated with me that you said is that if you don't have a business you can step away from for a week, you don't have a business. You got kind of a job. You got a job with a lot more stress, right?
Yeah, I think that a lot of times when we've started businesses, probably most people on this in this group or in this industry, like myself, it's a secondary job, right? A lot of people, this is something that they maybe they worked for someone and they thought they could do it better, or they got frustrated, or normally it's out of pain, avoidance of pain of what they've done. So they didn't like their current lifestyle, they didn't like their current job, so that's the norm. The problem is if you don't build it, with the end in mind of it actually being a business, and you're just building it because you're running away from a life that you don't want, you're not going to build what you want because you don't know what you want. And so a lot of times, like I ask people, like, why are you doing this? And they'll give me all the avoidance of pain questions. I don't want to be told what to do. I don't want a 9 to 5. And I'm like, still haven't told me what you want. Like, why are you doing this? And they're like, man, I don't know. I never really thought about that. And it's like, well, you know, look, the one thing we all have in limited supply with a finite number is the amount of hours in the day and the amount of hours we're going to be alive. And
Right.
if you're so busy being busy, I mean, fuck, you're going to be busy either way. Why would you want to be busy with stress and headache and making no money? Go get a job if that's what you're doing. We don't do this to be busy. We do this to have a better lifestyle, right? I mean, all of us, right?
Right.
That's why we do this. We do this to have a better life, to create memories. And unfortunately, I think a lot of times we get caught up in what we're doing because we never actually had the plan. It's like we got in
Hmm.
our car and we just started driving. And it's like at some point, someone's going to go, dude, where are we going? Like, we've been in this car for fucking days. Like, where are we going, man? And you're like, I don't know. I'm just going to keep driving because I don't want to be there. And at some point,
Right.
people are going to get out of the car, and those people are employees. And so what you're doing is a lot of times we actually, it's weird, Bob, because many times people will create through sabotage, self-sabotage. They'll recreate the job that they actually were running away from. And they don't do it on purpose, but that's what they're doing. They're like,
Right.
they've become the person that they ran away from being. And they're like, and I'll ask people like, so you did this for a better life. How's that working for you? You did this for
Mm,
more money. And they're like, it's not. And I'm like, can it be done? Like, could people have a business that runs without them in your industry? The answer is yes. It's like, well, then why not you? Why don't you have what they have? Because this is what path you're going. And a lot of it is the preparation. You know, we don't think about the preparation that needs to be done in order to have that life. And it's very common, you know, and
yeah.
sadly, 96% of all entrepreneurs go out of business in 10 years, which fucking blows my mind, man, that
Yeah.
we would do
Sad.
all of this headache and frustration and bullshit and drama to just leave with nothing. That's
Yeah.
what sucks, man.
Yeah. Hey, the timing's good because I offer a free 30-minute strategy call, and I'll get on the phone. Few people take me
Yeah.
up on it, and had a guy call me yesterday. We chatted for a bit and came around to the fact that, he has some employees and kind of got out over his skis, but was now just doing it himself. And he was just wanting to know, like, what are some strategies for, we know this, right? We know that, hey, we've got to put the systems in place. What advice would you give to a guy that he's got the tool belt on, the phone's ringing,
Yeah.
he's got to get his insurance, he's got to call this guy back, somebody called, got to go look at a job, family stuff, all the stuff, it's overwhelming. And they don't, geez, I gotta get a bookkeeper, I gotta do this, I can't be doing QuickBooks at night, I don't have time to look at that proposal, I'll look at it on Sunday. you know where do they start?
You know, here's the thing, bud. They're not going to like my answer. And that's the thing, you know, and I'm going to tell you the answer, but a lot of times people are wanting the answer. They're thinking I'm going to give them this silver bullet, right? The one
Right.
thing, like, okay, Steve,
Sure.
like, give me the one thing. There is no one thing. The
Yeah.
answer is you've got to slow down before you can speed up. And that's not the answer they want to hear.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying, when I say slow down, I mean slow down in the sense of build it before you fly it. Build the plane and know where you're going before you take off in the air. And what that means is you've got to create the destination for what is this business going to look like. And if you don't know
Right.
the destination and if you don't know where you're taking it, you don't have a vision. And if you don't
Mm,
have a vision, people are not going to stay working for you because people will come to work for a paycheck. But if you are in chaos and you are constantly putting out fires and you are drama, they're going to leave for someone who has a better vision, not even a better paycheck. We
right.
don't work for money. We work for recognition, and we want to be a part of a vision, meaning like, you know, people join a religion because they like the vision. They join a gang because they like the vision, a motorcycle
Yeah.
club, the military, sports. Why? It's because we like the vision of that particular company or team or religion or whatever it is. So the answer is if you really want to build something that is going to last without you, that is going to be, you know, generational, that's just going to keep going, that you can take a vacation and you know that your employees are going to keep busting their asses in good times and more importantly, and in bad times, you've got to have that vision of what they're doing and the core values of what they will do, not just when you're there, but when you're not there. And it sounds like, Steve, I just like, I'm on fire right now. I don't have time to stop. The answer is you're never ever going to have time to stop if you don't do this. You will be in a perpetual state of chaos and mayhem, and you are going to be like a shooting star. You're going to have a bunch of energy, bunch of potential energy, and you are going to flame out and become a smoking hole in the ground because you don't have, you know, a business is not made of you working your ass off. A business is processes, procedures, structure. A business is actually boring. When it is running and it is running efficiently, it is boring because you're leveraging people, systems, knowledge, money, and time, those five things. And if you're not doing that, you don't own a business, you own a job, and it's probably a pretty shitty paying job, and it's full of fucking headaches, and it's driving you into your grave of entrepreneurship because it will win every time. So, to answer your question, Bob, you got to slow down and create the plan before you get on the highway.
Yeah. Love it. One of the things that's been coming up a lot, mostly because my association with you, but I've heard of other guys doing it as well, and I know you know this business well, is the world of a virtual assistant. And
Yeah.
one of the things that I get when with my coaching clients when I mention that, the objections that I'll get is fear, right? Well, I don't want somebody into my checking account. I don't know if I can trust. And I'm like, well, it doesn't have to be that. You can unload a few tasks. And so what would be some of the things that you would unload on the front end? You're that carpenter guy, or you're out putting siding on, and there would be some things that would be very affordable to unload. Talk to these guys a little bit about the world of a virtual assistant and how that can create leverage.
Well, yeah. And listen, I'm a huge, huge fan of virtual assistants. I mean, I actually had my own virtual assistant company in Mexico at one point. There's different, just like there's different types of employees, there's different types of virtual assistants, different regions in the world. A virtual assistant is basically someone that works remotely. And I'll tell you what,
Right.
if COVID taught us anything, besides there's a lot of stupid people out there, the one thing it did teach us is that you can run a business virtually. And so when I had virtual assistants, this is back in 2017, 2018 when we started doing this. So we're not new to this. Um, 60% of my company was run by virtual assistants in Mexico. We were a property management company. We did real estate, we did make readies, we did maintenance. We had over 800 service tickets a month coming through our company. So when
Wow.
someone says, "Oh, Steve, we're different," I'm like, "You're different because you're fucking dying on the vine. That's why you're different." Because
Yeah.
it's you. The reality is the problem with the virtual assistant for people is, to be honest, Bob, it puts a shining light on the weaknesses in your business, because
Right.
now you can't bridge the gap by saying, "I'll just do it," because what it's really showing you is that maybe you don't have the systems, maybe you are not the right leader to lead the company. And so
Right.
it's showing a lot of things that we really don't want people to see, hear, smell, taste, whatever we want to call it. But a virtual assistant is leverage. And let me just give you an example, just for people to understand. And like I said, 60% of my company was in Mexico, and we were the fastest growing company in the state of Texas. So when someone says you can't do it, I'm like, maybe you can't do it, but it's like saying I'm going to use the yellow pages because I think it's cheaper. Dude, you can use it, but if all of your competition is using Google Ads, you're going out of business, meaning the highest cost or expense for a business is employee costs, right? And now you may say, "Hey, Steve, I'm a one man band." Well, you have to factor in your time, because when you have to factor in your time, that means there are things you are not doing as a leader, as a business owner, because you are on doing all the stuff. So the reality is you are not going to do everything good in a business. You have a skill set. I have a skill set. We all have a single skill set. Everything else we do, it basically dilutes what we're good at. So if you are not using a virtual assistant, you are basically diminishing the results of what you can actually do. Because if you are good in sales, you're probably shitty in accounting and bad in paperwork and all that stuff. So you are going to be the bottleneck, and you are going to be the weakest link. Now, I know this still to this day because I still have my assistant, Daniela. She places virtual assistants for people. Joni Wolfswinkle, who's part of our daily sales training, she has a virtual assistant company. She owns 5 companies and she has 50 virtual assistants, and she's placed over 500 for contractors and stuff. So the problem is the owner. It's between their ears, because when they're saying, "Well, I don't want someone in my business. I don't want someone embezzling from me or something." It's like, do you honestly think that couldn't happen from someone sitting right next to you in an accounting firm? You think that's, are you delusional? And if you have your system so fucked up that you can't track what you're doing with key performance indicators and measurement tactics, you have a bad business model. So again, it goes back to the reason people don't like virtual assistants. Reality is they have no business model to track them, to hold them accountable, and most importantly, Bob, they don't know how to train them. So they don't spend the
Right.
time creating the duplication of them, of a model. It's, listen, It's not rocket science. We're not going to the moon here. It's a matter of having the right systems, the right training, and the right structure. Because whether they're sitting right next to you as a physical employee or they are a remote team member, meaning a virtual assistant, you still got to have some sort of mechanisms to train them the way you want it done. And that's where people mess up is they've got they catastrophize. Well, gosh, what if this happens? Well, no shit, but you have metrics in place to stop that. And that's the key to being a business owner.
Yeah, one of the objections I've heard is, well, I don't have the SOPs. Have them create the SOPs.
And exactly. It's like, no shit. You're never going to have them because you're so
Right.
busy. Like, it's like saying like, yeah, what, it's kind of like, and listen, you sent me the message this morning. It's like some people say like, I need to lose weight. I need to lose weight until the doctor says you have 30 days or you will die or lose your leg because you're diabetic. Now your should becomes a must.
Right.
And if you said like all of a sudden, if they use the term, I remember a long time ago, it's like if you're going to go to Bali on Friday, if you were going to go to Bali, Indonesia on Friday, and you didn't have a phone or anything, you would probably get shit done to make sure you can get on that plane.
Right.
But you don't have a Bali trip. You don't have that trip. So there's no
Mm.
push or no reason to force you to do something. So when your should becomes a must, and maybe that must is spending time with your family, because what people aren't saying, Bob, when they talk about this is who they're really robbing is their families. The
Right.
memories that they should be creating because they're spending all their time in their business, they're robbing their families of the memories that they could be doing, but they're lazy. And it's honestly, it's lazy and they're being selfish. So I'm not going to go down that path, but I'll leave it there.
The irony is that oftentimes we start a business to spend more time with family.
Exactly. 100%, brother.
Yeah. So guys, if you have questions, pop them in the chat. I would love to, while we've got Steve on, bend his ear a little bit longer. I've got time today. It's not a big deal. I'm not in a rush unless you are, Steve, but if you guys have questions
good,
or, if you have something that you like to roll out to either one of us, throw it out. And I like this discussion because it does, I don't like it. It actually makes me uncomfortable because it brings back the overwhelm that I once felt as a business owner. And you're like, oh, I got to have a guy. I need a guy. I need a guy. Can you fog up a mirror? Good. Get over here. Hold the dumb end of the board, whatever it is. Right. And one time after time over the past 6 or 7 months, the past year, I've asked people, who would you add first? And they say a personal assistant. Not another carpenter guy, not another guy that can lay down deck boards, not somebody that can cover the job site for you when you're not there. A personal assistant. And looking back, I think that would have been a great thing for me because it would have kept me. And like you said, I'm that guy. I'm great at sales. I don't love the paperwork. Stick my head and say whatever. Somebody that could just be I've heard people say, work on your weaknesses. Screw that. I'm gonna pour into my strengths.
Yep.
I'm gonna get somebody to cover those weaknesses. We only get one trip around this track. I don't really want to get a lot better at QuickBooks.
Exactly.
I don't. I don't.
Yeah.
It's not in my DNA, dude. And so speak to that for a minute about strengths versus weaknesses, and where to put your time we've all got the same amount of time in a day.
Dude, I could not agree with you more. I mean, the reality is we all have a strength. I believe you play to your strengths. If I'm a kicker, I'm not going to become a linebacker, right? I kick. That's what I do. Be the best fucking kicker you can be. If you're good at sales, then be the best salesperson you could be. I go back to the whole way a business works is leverage. You don't see one person playing a whole football team. They're leveraging all the players. And so, but think about it. The quarterback, all he does all day long is practice throwing the ball. That's all he does. So if you want to contribute to the team of your business, what is your best skill set? And again, if you saw a football game and you're like, man, this guy's a linebacker. Now he's a kicker. Now he's a quarterback. Now he's a wide receiver. Is he going to be good at all of those things? Probably not an all-star. He may be decent, but there's going to be some things he's bad at. You, like me, Bob, we probably should not be let around QuickBooks. That's probably not the best place to put us in the accounting team. But that's just that's what we're not good at. I don't want to be good at that. I can hire someone
Yeah,
in a
you could
day.
be, you
I
could
could
be,
be.
but it's not.
Why?
That's not your
I
natural tendency.
exactly, because again, there's the opportunity cost, and the opportunity cost is what am I not doing that is my natural gift and my natural talent because I'm doing something that I'm mediocre. And we go back
Yeah.
to, I'm a big believer in disc profiling. And in
Hmm.
disc profiling, for those that don't know, it's a personality profiling system. And everybody in this world, everybody on this call is a certain variation of disc. And when I do my 2-day events, I go in depth and I talk about it and stuff. And maybe one day we can talk about it here. Um, but every role in the company is tied to a specific disc profile. And it's like Popeye, you are who you are, right? And that's it. Do people remember Popeye, Bob? Am I dating myself?
Yeah,
Maybe. I
maybe
don't know.
just you and
Anyways,
me, but maybe
maybe,
Rector. He's on here.
yeah. Right, he is. He's got some gray hair. But the thing is you play to your strengths. If you did the disc profiling, and I agree with what you said about the assistant. As you know, Daniela is like my lifeline. I mean, she
Hmm.
is by far not only is she my personal executive assistant for the last 8 years, she has two personal assistants that are VAs. Her and her husband built a coffee business. She has two rental properties. She's in Mexico.
Yeah,
People are like, wow, how did she do it? It's like, because there is a
clever.
recipe to be successful. She has learned how to be successful. It's just a matter of watching what other people do
Mm,
and going, well, fuck. He doesn't seem like he's the smartest guy in the world. He looks like a meathead, but he seems to be following some sort of recipe that seems to work.
right.
What if I just followed what he said? What if it actually worked? Like, God
Right.
forbid I could fucking have the life I want. And part of that life is understanding leverage. And when it comes to assistance and leveraging personal assistance, virtual assistance, it is the fastest, easiest, and most successful route that every entrepreneur needs. Because think about this, like Daniela, right? Anyone who talks to me, they will know Daniela. Why? Because they have to go through Daniela to get to me.
First thing you
And
say is, "Yep, just hit up my assistant Daniela. She'll get you
ex-
going on that." First,
exactly.
one of the first things you said to me.
It is actually a shortcut text on my texting. I
Yeah,
just hit 3 letters and it propagates the paragraph that says, please contact Daniela. She will take care of you. Here's her phone number. Here's your email. And
yeah,
she just knows when someone contacts her and they just say, Steve said to contact you, she knows what's going on. And
yeah.
think about this for everyone on this call. Could you use an extra 40 to 50 hours of your life back every week? Now, before you answer that, you may be thinking in your mind, well, Steve, I don't have 40 to 50 hours of work. I never said work. I just said 40 to 50 hours of your life back, which means doctor's appointments, calendars, emails, hotels, flights, scheduling stuff. She's like, hey, it's your mom's birthday. What should we send her? I'm like, just get her fucking something. I don't know. I'm busy. So just things that all of a sudden you realize things my mom's not here. I don't think she
Yeah,
is. It's too
my
early.
mother watches this shit, you know.
Yeah. So for your mom, don't do it. Bad thing. This is what I do. My mom thinks I'm a good son. So we'll leave it at that. Dude, my Daniela actually talks to my mom. She's like, "Hey, I talked to your mom. She said she wants you to call her." I'm like, "Why are you calling my mom?" She's like, "Well, she's like, I had to ask her something." I'm like, I don't even know how this even starts, but I tell you what, I love it because
Yeah,
she protects me. Daniela protects and
right.
makes sure that I'm taken care of. Right? Anything
Yeah,
I need, like whenever I'm doing an event, you talk to her. What are we talking about? What's the presentation? What's the what?
right. Yeah,
So it just
100%.
works, man.
Yeah. Hey, Jason Rector popped in the chat and asked a question. He said, yesterday you mentioned that you have a stack of index cards that are always on you. What do they
Yep.
look like?
So they are. Hold on, I'll get them.
Jason going right for the jugular. Yeah. Good to see you. Hey, Dustin Hippensteel, good to see you. Mark Bunker, good morning. Jason Rector said 40 or 50 hours a week back. Yeah, man. I'll take that.
Okay, so these are my word track. These are called word tracks. So these are things that I want to learn and remember, and I have them on each side. And these are objection handlers. These are my scripts. These are things I want to remember. And yes, it took me a very long time to write these. And for about the first 6 months, I wrote them out every single day on a pad of paper. Here's another batch of them. So I practice what I preach, guys. This is every single day. I fucking hope to God I never lose these because I will go ballistic, first of all. But um, these are word tracks, objection handlers, things I want to learn, I am statements. Every day, you know what I do is I put my timer on 20 minutes and I just start shuffling through them and I just start shuffling through them and I just go back and forth. Every single day, I do these. I do my I am statements, I do my word tracks, I meditate, and I read. And it takes me a long freaking time to do all these things. But you know what? This is part of my job and this is part of my responsibility for all the people that I coach to do what I say I'm going to do because
Yeah,
I am the one thing I am not that no one will say is, oh, Steve was a good coach. Steve was a good closer.
right.
No, and I'm not here to outwork anyone. And again, I don't, it's funny because I've never mentioned it, I don't think, to anyone before. I've been doing this for probably the last 10 years and I do it every day, man. Some of these I've written that I look at my writing and I'm like, what the fuck did I say here? I must have been drunk when I wrote this or something. But and what I do, guys, just so you know, when you say, well, where do you get these? They're different for everybody. But what I do is when I'm listening to audiobooks or if I'm listening to podcasts and I go, man, that is freaking good. And I'll stop it and I'll go put it like I use Asana as my project management or my reminders. Yeah, exactly, Bob.
That's
And I
pretty
write them
cool.
in there, and then when I have time, I'll sit down and I'll add more cue cards. So this is years and years of cue cards. Some are like, oh, that's dumb, that's not relatable. Did that answer your question, Jason?
Yeah, I'm sure it did. He's Jason is he was on the other day,
Yeah.
and he he role played with you, and you kicked his ass, so to speak. But he and I did a role play yesterday, and he did a lot better. And he said, "Man, it was really great to just get in front of Steve and even get beat up a little bit." But that's a great segue into what we're doing during the week now, Steve, with
Yeah.
the daily sales accelerator program, and I've enjoyed helping you out with that. But take a minute and let people know what that is and what that's all about.
Yeah, listen, I am the product of the product, we'll say. Right. Again, I practice what I preach. I 100% love getting in the trenches. What I love doing is I love selling. I love closing. I love objection handling. I love the art of communication. I listen to psychology books or psychology. I read psychology books. I'm very intrigued by it. And so at some point you're like, man, I have a lot of useful information but it's just stuck in my head. Like what do I do with it? How do I share it? And so that's when I got to the point where my team was like, Steve, like you should share your sales skills because you are one of the best closers, best salespeople. And I've been trained. I've invested a lot of money in myself to be mentored and coached. I still have several coaches myself. So I am like everybody else. I'm no better than anyone. I am in the grind. Well, part of that was okay. Well, how do I produce this for the masses? And so
Right.
producing it for the masses is hey, let's do a daily sales training, just like I do, but live. And so as I started doing this live daily sales training, Bob and I became good friends. Bubba, Richard, Joni, these are all people that I have worked with that are experts now, and they're like, hey, we want to help. I will tell you personally, there's nothing that makes you feel better than when people say, like, Steve, I believe so much in you. I want to help people now because I see that you're selfless and you help so many people. So I'm honored that Bob and Bubba and Richard and Joni all are just wanting to give back. And so, you know, I think there's by doing this, we're all getting better, right? I'm in the practice, I'm in the heat of battle, I'm doing this. So every day for an hour, one of us is on the daily sales accelerator and we are doing mindset Monday, objection handling Tuesday. Richard Nordheim is going to be doing objection handling today. Wednesday, I do a group coaching call. We're probably going to put in something on Wednesday, Pump Day, Wednesday, or I don't know, Bob, I'll let you pick that
Yeah,
one.
we'll figure it out.
Thursday's role playing, and Friday is free will. Whatever you want to ask. And it's just a way that it's not just it's not just us talking to you. It's role playing. It's getting you involved. I mean, when we did the one last week, Bob, with the role playing, I thought that was awesome, man, because
Yeah.
it's like you guys were talking, I was critiquing. I mean, this, and the reason I'll just say that this is so valuable is all of us have fucking 20 plus years of sales and closing. So together, you guys are getting so much, and it's minimal, right? I mean, the cost of what we charge is it's almost laughable. It's almost like I should probably quadruple the price just to make sure that people on there are serious.
Right.
And I'm sure we will increase the price, because right now we're just doing it to help. But at some point, what I've learned is the people that are serious are the ones that are willing to invest in themselves, because when you make that decision, right? And this is what it comes down to, Bob, is we want people that have made the decision to change their identity
Right.
of becoming successful. And when you change your identity to become successful, you have a new set of priorities. And those priorities mean that you are willing to invest in yourself to become a new person. You don't just get on a sales call. I don't want people that are just fucking taking up brainwaves and doing nothing. We've
Right.
got a couple people, as you know, that are on our daily sales training, and they are putting in the work, man. And I'm
Yeah.
like, I can see it. And
Yeah.
I will tell you, the people that put in the work, they will get just as much back from me, man. I feed on that, because I
Right.
I am them. I am the guy that's going, dude, I fucking love what you're doing, and I will match you toe for toe, because I want to see you succeed more than you do. And that's probably not a good thing. You should want it more than anyone else.
Right.
But I mean, again, I do this. Like, I'm not like one of these guys like, oh, back in 1980 when I had a fucking painting company and blah blah whatever. Nobody gives a shit. It's like, what did you do today to be better?
Yeah.
And that's
Exactly.
that's where I go with that. And I just think that more people need to give back and make deposits into people's lives than just take withdrawals and give them nothing. And thanks to
Yeah.
you, and thanks to Bubba and Richard and Joni, we're all doing this together. And I think we're going to make a big difference, man. I really do.
Yeah.
And I can't thank you enough for that.
Well, I appreciate it. And it was actually Bubba that said, "Well, I saw you speak in Denver a couple years ago," and then Bubba's like, "You and Steve really ought to know each other," and I said, "All
Yeah.
right." So we reached out and got you on the podcast, and then you're like, "Hey, dude, I'll come up and speak at your event, whatever." I'm like,
Yeah.
"Really? Okay." So off we went, and this has been a great relationship. I'm excited about what the future holds, and being able to collaborate, and still be able to do my summit stuff and build my
Totally.
brand, and right from the start you're like, dude, let's just crush them both. So that sounds good to me. I'm all in. And I think that as you've seen people jump in our new Facebook community,
Yeah.
that's a testament to that they are. And guys, if you haven't jumped on our daily sales accelerator, I can't remember the name of the Facebook group Bubba created,
Bubba made it.
but
I have no fucking
yeah,
clue.
guys, DM me if you want an invite to that. If I haven't invited you already, DM me if you want a link to the daily sales accelerator call. And Steve, you're going to run this, let people in for a bit, right? And then at some point here, we're going to say, guys, the door's closing. Get in before we pull the garage door down,
Yeah.
because we want it to be of value, and it is of value. And but we also want people to get a taste of it and see what it's all about first. Test drive it.
Yeah, yeah, and listen, I'm a big believer. Listen, you guys all work hard for your money, right? And I get that, and nobody wants to feel taken advantage of or ripped off, and I get it. I'm the same. I don't like getting fucking bamboozled or whatever. And my thing is let's date before we marry. I'll give you
Yeah.
a week try or whatever it is. I really don't care. To me, it's like I want someone to go, dude, this is so much value. We have a whole online community. I have a Rosenberg app. So I have a whole online community. The daily sales accelerator and the training. This is just to go, this is the world that could exist for you if you just say, what if? What if this guy and these guys, Bubba and Richard and Bob and Joni and Daniela and Masha and all the people that help out, what if they actually could change my life to give me the results that I actually wanted? What if this guy is legit? And again, let's date, right? We're not going to marry each other yet. Let's date. So try it
Right.
for free. I mean,
Yeah.
it's super cheap to begin with, and I am going to raise the prices. Just to be clear, there will be a point where I go, you know what? Yeah, it's about time to see who's serious. Let's put up or shut up. Right
People
now, I
that
want to
pay
make it free.
attention. People that pay
Exactly.
attention, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, no argument there. And with me and guys, I can attest to this. Like Steve's always led with service and coming from a place of service, and wanting everybody to win. So and I've been around some people in the last few years and spent some money with some people to get my thing going on the right path. And you're really one of the few that I've run into that leads with that. So it's a natural for me. I enjoy doing this, and I appreciate you being on today and taking a few minutes. Went longer than we thought, but it's always a good time. It's always a good time, and I think Richard's covering the call today, or handling the call today.
Richard's doing role playing. So, or no, sorry, objection handling. Richard's gonna be going. I may pop in. I may sneak into that one because I love going over objections. He's probably like, "Fuck." He's probably thinking, "Should I let him into the room to the Zoom call?"
You have to be nice because he's got the button, right?
He's got the button.
Yeah, but that guys, if you're, I mean, we all get objections, right? So hop on the call today, and I mean, and Steve, I've heard you say this today. What's your birthday? What street do you live on? What's your mother's maiden name? Those questions you can roll off your tongue very quickly, and getting so that you can do the same thing with objections is a skill. It's a diminishing skill too, and if you don't work on it, it just goes away.
100%, brother. Well, listen, man, thanks for having me. So
Thank you.
I didn't disrupt too much shit from you today, but
no,
it's all good,
man.
It
lined up great. I think everybody loves seeing you and hearing what you have to say and being able to throw some questions at you and getting a little more clear about what you and I are up to. So thank you. I appreciate you.
Thank you. All right, guys, I'm going to bounce. Good to see you, Bob. And I'll
take care.
For the people that are on the objection handling, I'll see you guys in about 2 hours, I guess, or something like that.
What time zone?
Peace. All right, see you guys.
That was Steve Rosenberg, guys. I had a great time with him. We went a little longer today. If you're watching it on the rewind and it helped you, pop a fist pump in there. And getting back to the focus of today's call, which we talked a lot about and covered everything that I had in my notes. I'll leave you with this. You don't build your business to be a slave to it. Okay. Operators build businesses that create freedom for you, your family, and your team. So focus on that. If I can help you anyway with that, book a strategy call, 30-minute free strategy call. I'm not going to, if you don't want to talk coaching, that's okay. If you do, that's fine too. And if you've seen what we're doing here and got a flavor for what it's like inside the Summit communities, hit me with a DM. We'll get you set up. I'd love to chat with you. If you're struggling, let me know. Hopefully I can help you. When I say that, just as quickly as Steve went and got his note cards to prove to you that he walks the talk with regard to doing that, when people call me, I give them my time. So anyway, guys, have a great day. Got to get a little breakfast and do a quick turn for my coaching calls for the day. I appreciate you all. Thanks for being here. Please share this. Thank you. There's some guys, some of you guys share this every day. Aaron Callie shared it yesterday. Peter Christensen shares it all the time. Guys that are sharing it, I appreciate you very much. So share it out. Keep the dream alive. Talk to you soon. We'll see you tomorrow at 8. Take care.